All right, David. Is it the gentleman or the lady?
No. Ladies first.
Oh, okay. So over the course, in fact, I think, let me just narrow it down to this year. We've been hearing a lot of issues of child maltreatment. In fact, there was one that happened 2 weeks ago where a lady killed a 5-year-old girl, and she claimed it was the Holy Spirit that asked her to. And then we also have one that happened very recently, I think it was last week, where a woman was beating her child and the child died. And the entire community made her carry the child on her head while singing to her. It was a very gory sight for me. They were clapping, calling her a woman that killed her child, and she was actually arrested after. But the funny thing is that the woman kept saying that she would not intentionally kill her child, that she was just disciplining the child. But the question is, who would believe her? So today we want to talk about how to protect the child from aggression. We are passing through a lot in this country. Everybody's health is filled. So how can we protect children from such aggressions that lead to child abuse? Over to you, gentlemen.
Yes, and it's very important we discuss that because, like the woman said, she was just trying to
discipline her child.
To what extent do you discipline, and to what extent do we now decide that this is already
to what
an aggression?
extent do you spare the road?
Yes, spare the road. All right, so we have someone with us this morning. He's a clergyman, a minister of God. So he must have dealt with parents, talked with them, especially when it comes to...
And talk to children too.
Talk to children, especially when it comes to child upbringing. And I saw your reaction when one of the cases we cited said she was inspired by God. I don't want to go there. So how do we even begin to talk about child aggression? Well, how do we even bring up the child in a proper way before we get to the place of aggression and non-aggression?
Thank you, Mr. David, and Oluchi. Thank you for having me in this program. This is a wonderful topic that has been neglected, especially in our nation and society for a while, you know. We hardly talk about child abuse, but it has become so necessary that it is discussed, and that we parents and the society know how to treat our children. I would like to say, first of all, that every child is your child. Your biological child, or that of your neighbors, and every child you see around in the society is your own child. And these children represent our future. They represent our investment. Our biggest investment are in our children, because they represent our posterity. So, and that's why we need to be very careful how we handle them, because whatever we do, you know, against them will turn back to hurt us tomorrow. So, children are to be loved, cherished, and nurtured, and not for us to vent our anger on them every time. You know, we should give them the opportunity to make mistakes and then correct them with love. Correcting a child does not mean you must inflict pain on that child, inflict injury on that child. Okay? So that's it. There are many ways you can correct a child in love. And a lot of children they are open to learning. The way you treat them, you know, you lovingly nurture them, will make them to open up to whatever you tell them to do, and they'll be willing to do it.
All right, you know, I've noticed that in most of these cases of child abuse, it is most time when the child is found and interviewed, it is mostly my auntie. You most times, I'm not talking, okay, a lot of times, let me not say you most times, a lot of times you got to find out that the man of the house don't play any role. In fact, the one that was caught at Onitsha, the child that was molested, beaten, yes. I at the end of the day, the police arrested both the man and the wife. And people were like, what was the man doing each time the wife molests this kid? And I remember some people in the comment section said, no, when it comes to help, the man know they put mouth. That was what they said. It's the woman's department. It's the woman's department with the helps. So my question now is, what is the role of, I'm not talking about people's children now. I'm talking about these children that you bring to help you, because our people have formed the habit of employing children as their maids. It's child abuse, it's child labor. However you put it, is the norm. You bring in little children. But the question now is, in a house, a Christian house, that you notice as a man of the house, my wife is abusing the helper. How can you step in? Is it okay for the man to decide to look the other way? Or is there a way the man can step in? Because most of these times, it is the women that are accused of being this angry and maltreating the children.
Yes, thank you very much. Of course, you know, the Bible says the man is the head of the home. He's the head of everything. He has a strong responsibility towards the well-being of everyone in the home. The well-being of the wife, the children, and maybe other children that are living with him. He's the chief of the home.
So there is no reason for him to claim ignorance of what is happening.
He cannot claim ignorance. He cannot sit on the fence.
So why does it seem as if some men act as if they are not involved in such issues? When you tell them, they tell you it's the woman.
It's irresponsibility.
Okay.
They don't know their role. Their role is, even sometimes some men claim to be busy. The little time you are you should look at, watch things. What is happening, how everyone is doing. Your children and other people living with you, the home, the environment, even the neighborhood. Should be able to be in control of your affairs and your family. So you can't claim ignorance. You can't push the housemaid to your take care to your wife alone. Even your children too, you should be involved in everything. Their education, are they doing their homework? This child that is staying with you, is the child doing well? Is the child going to school? Is the child well fed? Is it okay? How is the child treated? Sometimes some women will, like somebody told me, he said he lived with someone before when it was, this man is a big man now. But he said at that time, when they make food, the fresh meals were for the children.
And the leftovers.
They left the food, leftovers of yesterday are the ones he will eat. After that, the children, everybody has eaten the fresh meals. And that's it. So they served from different pots to them. And there is an abuse. And he grew up with that mentality. He said, if he was telling me this thing.
As an adult.
Yes. And right now, he started telling me the situation of that family right now. They are not the best of it. These things we do to others come back to us. And that's how life is, a seed. Whatever you sow is what you get. Right now, the guy is blessed and well placed. God has helped him. You understand? And when he looks back to remember how he was treated in another person's home, he feels bad.
So what is the man of the house supposed to do? Because in some cases, especially this generation mothers, if you overput eye for maid matter, they'll say, Oga, the way I'm looking at you now. So what is a man of the house? How is he supposed to control how his wife treats the help, even when he is not around, without being overbearing, without doing too much?
Well, it's important for you to set standards in your home. Even before anybody comes in. Please, in this home, everybody is treated equally. We eat together. We wake up together, pray together. Okay, these are your rules. These are your rules. These are your rules. Of everyone in the home. The man should be able to set those standards and supervise them. Now, when he is not there, I believe if the wife respects him, as a head of the home, she will be able to follow. She will know that if she goes against the standards that the husband, and not that is a unilateral order that you give. These are things you work out with your wife. Okay? She knows that the husband will not be happy, and she would like to, maintain the peace of the home too. So I look at that as one of the roles the man must play. Again, is if you notice any mistreatment, there are ways you can. You may not handle it publicly. You can privately, in your closet, talk to your wife. Say, please, maybe we can do this way next time.
All right, but when you've set all these standards, you've even agreed with your wife, but you discover from supervision that this is still happening. What do you do as a man?
And sometimes when the maids cannot tell you
Exactly.
because they are scared of madam.
Yes.
What can you do? How can you handle it?
Well, I wouldn't know. Sometimes if you that child being with you is going to put you into trouble. You understand me? You may send the child away.
Yes.
Because just like the person that killed somebody, a child.
Her child.
Her child. Just imagine that. That is devilish.
Oh, okay, so I want to ask, now that I'm happy you brought back the case of the woman that killed her child. Now, according to the woman, she said she was disciplining her child. And the child died. But I would like to ask now, as somebody who has been in this family counseling business for a while, we're not witnesses, so we don't know what went wrong. But disciplining a child is something everybody do. Her child, not another person's child. And so what did she do wrong? Did she overbeat the child? Is it the emotion she poured? Because I would like to believe that maybe she punished the child while she was still angry. But that is my own belief. I'm not a family counselor. I don't get. So I would like to know your own belief. What do you really think went wrong? Because as a child, I grew up in a home where you will do an offense today. Sometimes it will take my dad a month before he punishes you. You get? Sometimes you'll be wondering why this whole thing is dragging. But he's trying to calm himself down. So that whenever he starts punishing you, he will ensure that the punishment he's giving out on you is not out of anger. And then he will ask you whether you know what you did wrong. In fact, it's always a negotiation that doesn't end up well for you. Because he will ask you, do you know what you did wrong last month? You said yes. Say, why is it wrong? You say, this is why it's wrong. You say, okay, what punishment will be okay with you? You will say, okay. You can say, okay, give me 5 strokes. You say, no. Don't you think you deserve 10? I think you deserve 10. Oh yeah, your hand. Now, it really worked well for me. Yeah. But on the other hand, my mom will give it to you as it be hot. Because by the time she will calm down, she won't have the mind to punish you. So these are 2 different individuals I grew up with. And I think I prefer the calm yourself, that even though his punishment is always worse than the other one. But the thing now is, I want to really know why, because of all these years I didn't die. Sorry. And I really got, at the end of the day, he helped shape me. Now a woman is punishing her own child. And she killed the child. What did she do wrong? What can other people learn from that situation and do better?
Honestly, it's a very pathetic story. Someone punishing the child. We are not supposed to punish the children, but to correct the children. You understand? We are correcting them because at that age, they are bound to make mistakes. Even we adults are bound to make mistakes. We are bound to go against the rules. So even when they take us to, they take someone to court, okay, charge him to prison, it's correct. That's now they are calling it correctional centers, not prison. Do you understand? So it's to correct, not to kill, not to destroy, not to damage, not to maim. Okay, and that's why we should not do it with so much anger. Okay. All right, don't expect your child to be perfect in everything. So if there are wrongdoings, you can lovingly correct the person. You may flog the person, but if you wish to, but the current laws of child, abuse or whatever are against hitting a child, honestly. Against hitting a child. That's why in some Western countries, developed countries, if you beat a child, the government may come after you.
Even in some schools here, you don't beat a child.
Even in some schools now. You don't do that. That has come into our society now. Those things are in our laws, It's just that we have not been enforcing them as we should. But we are getting there right now. With all these happenings now, I think the government needs to look again and have...
But people always tell you, spare the rod as for the child. Happy even daughter name. Like
I said, David, I did not die.
So how do we ensure that this correction, while you met them out, are still within the areas of love and correction, like you say, not punishment, not aggression? How do you ensure that as a person, my economy.
Is important. The rod does not necessarily mean hitting the child.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Telling you, the rod could just be talking to the child. Look at what you did. It's just like what you explained. Look at what you did. Look at what you should have been. You understand? Okay, you may do a little thing like deny little privileges. Just for a short time, not that forever.
Yeah.
So that the person will know that you were serious about, having him or her take correction. And it's very important. So it's important too that we don't carry anger to our homes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. One of the reasons many families are struggling today, because they carry external aggression into their homes. Anger, what is happening in the society, in the market, or what they are facing, what they are passing through, they carry it home. Your home should be a place of peace, love, joy. It's where you laugh, you are relaxed, you have comfort. Because your family is your greatest asset. If you maintain a gloomy home, you will never be happy in your life. If your wife or your husband and children are never happy, are always afraid, anxious, and all that, you can't have a good life yourself too. So these are some of the things we need to look at, and that's where a lot of people are having issues. So when you go home and you see error, you correct it. Okay, this is what it should be. Okay, you may tell the child, okay, kneel down. Kneel down. The child kneels down for a while. I say, get up. You understand why you kneel down. And for every correction, make sure the child knows why you're correcting him or her. It's very important that they know why. And they know the better thing to do.
Okay, so I'd like to look at what is the role of a neighbor, the role of the society. When you see that this child that stays with so person is being abused. Because sometimes we see them, you see the child, you see the way the child is treated, and you're like, let me respect myself and mind my business.
Exactly.
So what is the role? What should you do as a neighbor and not overstep your boundary? Because I've seen a child that the mother beats, and the child beats the mother back. And I went to the little boy, it should be a boy of 4 or 5 years. And I said, no, you don't do that. And the mother turned and said, no, leave him, he's still a child. Mind your business. When you have your own children, you understand that he's still a child. He doesn't know what he's doing. And at that point, I kept asking myself, did I go out of my boundaries? You get. So what should a neighbor do in case when you see a child that is really passing through child abuse or aggressions from an adult?
Okay. Number one is, like what you did was not wrong. Sincerely. It's just that many people understand things from different angles, and maybe from their backgrounds, where they come from. They feel that you shouldn't be involved. No other person should. Because yes, it's their child. No, it's not only your child. Your child is not only your child. It's a child of the society, of the community, of the government, of the nation. Do you understand? Yes. And very, very important. Then you can go to your neighbor and say, please, I heard the cry of your son or your daughter. I understand you were disciplining him. You can discuss with them. Again, is that you can call the authorities if it's too much. Yes, we have maybe a police department that handles that.
Yeah, women,
child rights or social welfare. You can call them and inform them. They will come and talk with them. They will come and meet the parents.
And you become the enemy.
They may not necessarily involve you or disclose who told them. Okay, please, I noticed that my neighbor is abusing the child. You understand me? They can go there and make inquiry. They are experts. They know how to know a child that is being abused. Yes, because a child that is abused will be withdrawn, always frightened, and all kinds of, signs that they show.
Wow.
All right. It's been a very powerful few minutes, and our time is already up with this morning. Just give us in 30 seconds, what will be your advice to our viewers, especially when it comes to protecting our children from aggression? What should we do generally as a society to create a safer environment for our children to grow?
Thank you very much. I think number one, like I said before, consider your children are your future. And every child is your child. If we make them better, we train them up well, they will preserve our posterity and our future, our investment and our labors. Very important. Again, children are to be trained with love and affection. And you need to make them know that you love them and you have accept them, and you are not condemning them or making them feel, lesser beings or belittling them. So it's very, very important. Again, you must not hit a child to correct that child. It's very important. It's good you correct them, tell them where they erred, and show them the right thing to do. But you start first by telling them the right things to do. And then you demonstrate it for them to follow, because children copy a lot. It's what they see us do that they do. Sometimes some of the things we are blaming these children for are what they saw us doing or what they saw their neighbors or other children do. So if we all are committed to the proper upbringing of our children, I believe we'll have a better society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we really want to use this opportunity to appreciate our guest, Pastor Kelechi Opoti. He is always delivering.
Thank you. I appreciate
He always delivers the best of the best. And I really hope that if you have a child around you, whether your child or another person's child you're taking care of, you will know what to do now. And that you also know that a child is not just your child, it's a child of a society. And that's it on our discussion segment this morning.
And from me, as we move over to our breakfast news studio, it's just for me to remind you that the child is under your tutelage, that you're taking care of the child, that you're taking care, paying the child's school fees doesn't give you the right to treat that child as you seem fit. You must consider that person as a human first, as a child that possesses the same right that you possess as a human in your handling of such children. All right, let's take you over now to our breakfast news studio for breakfast news at 8.